I'm your host, Jason Tartick, and welcome to Trading Secrets. We talk all things money on this podcast, and we're teaching all the stuff we just weren't taught in the classroom. Nothing supports this show more than liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing. Welcome back to another episode of Trading Secrets. Today, we are joined by luxury real estate expert and Selling Sunset star, Mary Bonnet. As one of the faces of the Netflix show, she is a VP, a senior agent at the Oppenheim Group with over 15 years of real estate experience. Mary has built a powerful career at the intersection of television and personal branding. Beyond the stunning properties and glamorous show, Mary's story is about independence, strength, business growth, and credibility, how she used a massive global platform to amplify her professional brand, attract high-end clients, and expand her influence in an ultra-competitive industry. Fresh off season 9, today we will dive into the business behind reality TV, the ins and outs of luxury real estate, and how Mary turned exposure into an enterprise. We've had Jason on the podcast. I think we've had Michelle on the podcast. Mary, we are so excited to have you on Trading Secrets. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking a little bit before, and I was like, literally, you are the perfect guest. It's like pop culture meets money, reality TV, real estate professional, which is a whole topic right now.
Yep.
And I think also, I wrote a book on this called Talk Money to Me, and it's all about the intersection of love and money, which I know you have had many stories with. So
I sure do.
We got a lot to uncover here in a short period of time.
Okay.
Let's start with this. So reunion of season 9 just came out, right?
Yeah.
So, and if for anyone that lives under a rock, it's trending on Netflix right now. It's in the top 5 of all shows.
Yeah.
But for anyone listening that might have not seen season 9, how would you summarize it?
Explosive.
Explosive.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good word. What would you say you were part of the explosiveness? Because I didn't think that. I mean, you obviously had your ups and downs. We'll get into that, but like I wouldn't say your character, if you will, your personality was explosive.
No, I'm never explosive. I think that I was pulled into it more, but I had an explosive time in my life this season with robbery and all kinds of stuff like that, and emotions were high. But no, I'm not an explosive kind of person, and I'm pretty much like, okay, are we done? Are we done? Let's move on.
I feel like you're the mediator.
I am. They call me Mediator Mary.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely your brand, your edit, everything you've done over the last 9 seasons.
Yeah.
Do you think that what we see of Mary? I mean, everyone on reality TV has an opinion of their edit versus like what the reality is. What's your take on what it has been and what it was on season 9?
I think with season 9, I was pretty upset about the edit, but normally I think all of us are true to who we are.
Yeah.
Except season 9 was not very good at it because there was so much that was happening that either got cut out that explained what viewers got to see, or it happened behind the scenes. And then so I think everybody's responding to stuff that was happening. And then the way it was edited, you're like, that did not explain that at all. Yeah. So I feel like fans are probably confused, or they're like, well, where did this come from? Because it wasn't on there. Yeah. And so I think it was a little frustrating, but it is what it is. What can we do?
Reality TV, right? I feel like the beauty of reality TV, though, is like at least we have our own platforms that we could speak to it. Was there one scene or one moment you're like, that just like totally triggered you? You're like, that is so taken out of context?
I think, there was the flowers moment where I got upset about that. People think I was actually upset at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Who gets mad about flowers? It's like nobody. I was mad at production, and I was yelling at production, and I never yell. And that was the only time where I'm like, I kicked him out of my house because
over the 9 seasons, that's the only time.
Oh yeah, I am a team player, and even if I don't like something, I do it. I try to say, well, I'm not gonna say or do something that's not me, but I'll do it my way. Like I'll say whatever I feel comfortable with, because they do have a point that if I don't explain things, then the audience isn't going to know. They're not in my head, or they're not like, they weren't there during a conversation or something. So you have to explain it. It's a valid point. But my personality is, if I don't like something, okay, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Move on. I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to confront someone because I'm not a confrontational person. And so this season, it was just like, come on. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was upset with them because I just got robbed. I was like, I don't want any surprises. Do not try to blindside me with anything today because they love
a good blindside. They really like to keep you guessing. That's how you get 9 seasons, though.
Oh, right. I know. And this time they did it. And I was like, you guys, who's it from, Mary? Who's it from? And I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And because I knew they set it up. First of all, she doesn't have my address, and she didn't know where when we were filming to have them delivered. I was like, you guys are playing, like, you guys orchestrated this. Like, no. And finally they admitted they did. But everyone thinks that I'm like just overreacting and upset about flowers. I was like, I let you into my home, let you film my closet, which is always off limits. And then they tried to pull one to stir up drama. And I'm like, I'm not playing these games. Get out.
I'm surprised they do that. A vet like you, you're going to figure that out.
I am. And afterwards they were like, well, you could have just done this. I was like, and you could have just told me what you were doing.
Yeah.
Like, don't blindside me is what I said. You know, I always work with you. And you could have just done that. They're like, yeah, you're right. I was like, do you think I'm going to respond well right now? Like with being like surprised with something? No.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you're right. So it was just, I think, it's a reality show and it is what it is, but I think it's gotten taken very, very out of context.
I feel like they need those checks and balances for you.
Yeah.
Like, guys, come on, let's keep it real.
Yeah.
You mentioned your closet. I think it's a good transition because it feels like Selling Sunset has become, it's the real estate stuff's great. There's also good drama.
Yeah.
But it honestly feels like at this point, it's like a high-end fashion show. I mean, even when we walked in the first day, I'm like, you look beautiful. You got this awesome, holiday type suit on. But like everyone on the show, I think a lot of people watch it to get like fashion tips at this point.
Yeah.
My question to you is, and I always ask this to like other reality shows when they're preparing for the show, if they're the lead or they're the cast, how much they spend on their clothing and things like that. Season 9, how much you spend in outfits, you think? If you had to take a wild shot in the dark.
At least 100.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's like, do you guys ever behind the scenes say like, hey, maybe we should just like not dress so high end so we don't have to spend as much?
Because part of it's hair and makeup and we have to do all these things. They don't cover any of that too.
Yeah.
But I am not a bougie person at all.
Yeah.
And I'm just very reasonable with stuff. If something's cute, I don't need like designer everything. I'm like, carry a nice bag and you can have like a well-made whatever outfit, and we're only allowed to wear this stuff once anyway, so I'm like, I'm not spending that much money. I'll invest it. But we get a lot of gifting too, so I think it's really cool and I take advantage of it. Some of the girls don't, but if there are certain brands I really like, I'm like, hey, I'll wear it on the show and tag you guys. And they're excited. It's a win-win for everybody. 100%. So I try to be smart with my money.
I love it.
Because, I can invest it. I can go on vacation with it. I can run to Bali when the girls drive me crazy. So,
Bali's a good op, right?
Fly first class to Bali. I'll take that money and go there.
Why wouldn't you?
Very relaxed when I get back.
I love it. One thing about like with the industry, it seems like the luxury real estate market, even like a Ryan Serhant here in New York City, it feels like the attire is part of the brand. Every job has things where you're part of the brand. It feels like the attire is part of the brand. But then also, I think counterintuitive to that, there are a lot of buyers you probably work with that are like, I mean, look at like a Mark Cuban or like a Steve Jobs back in the day who wore like literally the same outfit. Some of those people don't dress up at all. So how important is kind of your look and attire in the luxury real estate market?
Oh, it's extremely important.
And why?
Because they want someone, even the car you drive is very important.
Interesting.
Yeah. Jason had to talk me into that one. He's like, you got to listen to me on this because it shows that you're successful. You know what you're doing. It gives the impression that you're a professional and you've sold enough homes to be able to afford this.
Interesting.
That's it. That's the thinking process, I guess, on it. But I think just being well-dressed, it just gives off a good vibe. I mean, I think that people are drawn to people that have like a cool professional look. On our show, it's kind of funny because I see some of the outfits. I'm like, guys, we're getting a little out of hand. A ball gown to showing like this. I know it's TV and it's about fashion, but a ball gown.
Yeah,
I was like, come on.
It's like next level.
Unless you're going to the Emmys afterwards, like directly from the showing, you maybe put on a suit.
Yeah, like what are we doing here? Like at some point you got to eye roll a little.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done this for over 15 years now. You have a leadership or had a leadership and then kind of like stepped down as leadership, but you're still a VP, right? Like
I'm the VP. I'm not a manager.
Yeah.
Because I cannot deal. It was not a real estate manager. It was a manager of herding cats that are cast.
Right.
I mean, trying to manage these women is impossible. And I was like, I don't want this drama. And I was put in the middle of it. Jason's like, well, Mary, you're the manager. Deal with it. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I gladly slept down from that. I was like, I'm going to stick to real estate.
I'll stick to real estate. I'll be a VP. We'll get into a little bit what that manager was because I know you had some even pushback from the people that you were managing, being like, of course you got this role. You're their favorite, blah, blah, blah. But I'm curious about this. You've done it for 15 years. You've been in management. You've stepped back from management, but you have a ton of experience. You've had a ton of success.
Yeah.
You're saying that like part of the advice is like you got to look the part and then get a car and do these things so like you show success. You've had it.
Yeah.
Have you seen other agents then go buy these big things, buy these cars, but not have the success and like actually put themselves in a form of financial debt for trying to put on a brand that actually isn't backed by success?
I'm sure that does happen. Yeah. I mean, I know that people they will do it and it's a struggle to maintain it. Yeah, that has happened because real estate is up and down. And I think people don't realize how hard it is. The show makes it look like it's so easy. Put on a pair of Louboutins, go strut in, flip your hair, and be like, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful! Sign here." And
new office,
you
new hair,
got like $100,000 in your bank. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hustle that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot of unglamorous stuff that we have to do.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time and it takes a lot of patience because you're dealing with so many personalities.
Yeah.
And most of the time, you're dealing with people during either their worst moment of their life, like they're moving or buying or selling because a divorce, having kids, like getting married or whatever. And it's like these are losing a job. And so upsizing, downsizing, whatever. It's like those are very big moments in people's lives. And sometimes they're very highly emotional. So you have to kind of dig through and be patient when your clients are acting out or not doing things in their best interest. I'm actually really good friends with probably the worst clients I've ever had. And there are some of my really good friends now but I had to look at what was actually going on. The responses were not normal for what was happening. And so I was like, okay, this is a sensitive subject. There's something behind, like, I'm not understanding right now. Yeah. And once I realized what it was, they actually bought me a diamond necklace at closing.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you're like a part-time therapist too.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into the nuances of your job and then real estate and all that because I want to ask. But one thing we've already talked about is obviously jewelry, high-end fashion, and you already mentioned the LA fires, which then alluded to the burglary, which was a huge part of the season. I mean, talk to me a little bit about, and again, for anyone that hasn't seen it, paint the picture of like when you found out that you were completely robbed, what that was like, what you looked to first, how much went missing, the costs of it all. Like paint the picture for anyone that hasn't seen.
Yeah. So it was during the fires and Romaine and I went to a yoga event. It was for charity. My sister is a yoga instructor. And so all proceeds from for 3 different classes she had that Sunday were going to help with all the animals that were affected by the fires and all the so I posted that a couple of the Selling Sunset cast were going to go support and raise money for the shelters and everything. And I didn't say which one that we're going to. There was like 8 a.m., I think 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. Okay. And I didn't say which one we're going to, but apparently they were sitting outside my house and like staking it out. The minute we left, our neighbors ended up getting the footage of them sitting like down the street watching for us. And the minute we left, they pulled up 3 masked and gloved men jumped 2 of our gates, went in, cut our power, broke in, and like took all of my jewelry, my family heirlooms. It was 18 designer bags. My dog was missing when we got back. My little Pomeranian, Thor, he was gone. And we got back and I saw like the side gate open and I was like, babe, I was like, did you leave that open? Because we're very cautious of it because of our dogs.
Yeah.
And so went through and then I saw one of the doors open that was a door we never use ever. And then I was like, oh God, okay, hang on. And I run in and my dog's always standing right there. And I was like screaming, the lights wouldn't turn on. And when I went in, I saw like to the left, my office. At first I ran back out and I was like, Thor's gone. He's gone. And he's like, no, he's in there somewhere. He's just sleeping. I was like, no, he's gone. Because he always comes. I was screaming his name, but I couldn't see in any of the rooms because the power was off.
Yeah.
Went into my office and I saw it was just ransacked. Went into my closet, which my dog will normally, like, sometimes he will go in and lay on my clothes when we're gone. But I couldn't see anything. It was destroyed. Everything was gone. I saw on my jewelry case, there's like an island in the middle, and all my jewelry's out on display. And that was all gone. They got in my safe. Like the whole closet was destroyed. Everything off the shelves and everything like that. And then in our bedroom, they went in there and went through all of our drawers and everything and pulled things out and stole all my husband's jewelry and everything too.
Unbelievable. When you first saw that, did you at all think it might have been personal inside job with professionals, or like what was going through your head as far as like who did this, who's responsible?
Every scenario went through my head. The fact that they knew where the key was for my safe was very strange. But then afterwards, our neighborhood got robbed. Like there was somebody that got robbed nearly every night because there were no police. The police had been defunded. The ones that we did have were out helping with the fires and trying to secure the areas out there. And so I called 911 and they told me to call back in a few days. They don't have any resources to help.
Seriously? You called 911 and that's what they said?
Mm-hmm.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah. And so Jason, thank God, he had just given a bunch of money for the new DA for his campaign.
Sure.
And so he called him up. He's like, excuse me. He's like, you need to get officers out to her house now. We share dogs.
Yeah.
And he's like, you need to get someone out there now. And he was like, I'm so sorry. Okay, hang on. Let me see what I can do. And so eventually that night someone came out. They never caught them. They never really. It was sad. But when we went to the police station, I don't blame the police at all because they are in a lose-lose situation.
Sure.
They don't have enough resources. They want to be able to help, but then it takes them so long. They don't have enough cars. By the time they get there, they get yelled at or people are threatening to sue because of stuff. And he's like, we don't know what to do. And then I don't know what to do. Everyone's just in a lose-lose right now. And then these poor people that are losing their homes.
That's crazy.
It's, at least I had a home to get robbed.
Right. It was just like, I mean, it's tough to find light in darkness, but like, if you're going to find light in darkness, what a good perspective to do so.
Yeah. I just can't imagine what they went through because losing that small amount of stuff, and the invasion of someone, it's safety more than anything.
Yeah.
But then to just lose everything all at once and have no place to go, insurance companies aren't paying out and stuff. It's like, I can't imagine. So I feel lucky, and in hindsight, I feel lucky. But
some of this stuff, like family heirlooms, are invaluable, right? But like, if you had to put a number on how much you think was taken from you, how much do you think was robbed from your house?
It was, I didn't get any of the jewelry stuff back because I just fired my assistant 2 weeks before because she never got my supplemental jewelry insurance.
Damn. Because with supplemental jewelry insurance, you have to go through item by item.
And I already had
to support the documentation. Like it's a whole process.
And that's why I was like, I need you to go get everything appraised because I had photos, I had itemized everything, and I needed her to take them. I was in Egypt. I needed her to take them while I was out of town to make sure because it still wasn't done. And I ended up firing her over that. And then I got robbed. So I lost about $250,000 in jewelry, and then I got partial money back for a couple items. I think what, $1,500, I think is what I got back for jewelry.
You're kidding.
I'm like,
you lost $250,000 in jewelry and got $1,500 back. I think, like, I don't know. I don't know if you have a take on this. I think insurance is like the biggest fucking scam.
Well, like, it's good to have insurance.
You gotta have insurance. You have to have insurance. Have insurance.
I know.
But it feels like every single time I'm paying insurance, my premiums are going up. I'm still get confusion about what's actually covered, what's not.
Yeah.
When you do want supplemental insurance, like watches and stuff covered, you have to jump through 8,000 hoops to do it.
Exactly. My watches, like, were all taken.
Yeah.
Everything. But I did get the money back for the bags and some of the clothes.
There we go. There's a good insurance story. Yeah. And still to this day, do we have any idea or leads as to who did it?
They caught one of the groups that did one of our neighbors' homes. Yeah. And we have a neighborhood watch now, and we have private security that will drive around that's armed to try to help, like, at least hold them until the police can arrive. So we all kind of banded together. We also have something called a flock camera where the feed goes directly to the police. So if somebody calls, they can tap into it and see exactly where they are and see where they're taking off to try to, like, stop or get a helicopter above, because it happens so much. There were like 17 robberies and like a very short amount, I think, in the 1 month period.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Knowing what you went through with insurance, do you have like any trading secrets as it relates to insurance or things you would do differently now, knowing what you know, or just any takes on insurance?
Yeah. So there's something with this isn't exactly insurance, but your electrical panel, when you have your security system and, like, ADT or whoever you've got, have a sensor on your electrical panel, because when they break or lift it up, it have a padlock on it and a sensor, because when they lift it up, it'll trigger the alarm. And so otherwise, and then hardwire all of your cameras, because they have Wi-Fi, like, blockers or something like that.
Okay.
And so they can stop the camera so you can't see them. Luckily, we had our neighbors all pitched in, and they showed the footage so that we could help try to track them down. However, the plates on the car were stolen, all this stuff like that.
It was all,
but
like, premeditated, all, like, strategically thought.
Yeah.
Professionals that did it. That's good advice, though. Like, I think the little tap on your electrical box.
Yeah,
and,
because
like,
when they go in to cut your power.
That's so smart. All right, outsmart these bitches out there. I think one of the things you mentioned was, like, of course, the LA fires, right?
Yeah.
Because this impacted the burglary and then also deploying officers. I feel like on social media, every time I'm on there, I'm still hearing so much about the LA fires, as we should. And the one I'm hearing the loudest is Spencer Pratt. I mean, he is loud and proud there. I was curious, with the LA fires, do you have a perspective on it living there, or a take, or anything how it's impacting business, just things like that?
Oh, it's impacted business in such a monumental way. First of all, people it's almost impossible to insure for fires now. And the insurance companies aren't really paying out that much, or you have to wait for a certain amount of time. People are just moving out of the city. Between taxation, the increased taxation and stuff on property taxes, and selling. When people sell their homes, developers they're not able to make enough of a profit because of the taxation. And so there's not as much going on. The interest rates are still high, and then crime is up, and there aren't enough police to be able to enforce the law and catch all of these people. And so a lot of people have moved out of LA, and they're like, I'm not going to pay this much money to have my house robbed and nothing happens. It's like, where's the security? Where's, like, we're just in a unfortunate state right now in LA. And then a lot of the people that lost their homes have either decided to rent for a while or just move to a different area because it's taking so long to rebuild. Wow. And their kids have to restart in a different school anyway, because all of the Palisades burned down, like all of Altadena and part of Malibu. And, there's a lot of areas that were destroyed. And so if they have to change their kids' schools and stuff anyway, because the schools burnt down.
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
Yeah. So they've decided to move. A lot of them are moving out of state to lower tax states like Florida, Arizona, Nevada,
Texas,
Texas,
Tennessee.
Nashville.
Yeah. Are you seeing that ripple effect also impact your business? I mean, you look at 2021, it was booming, it was thriving. 2022, real estate was ripping. Are you starting to see a slowdown now?
Absolutely. I started real estate in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, when
that's a tough time
great
to start.
year.
That's a tough time to start.
It is, but I've always said, like, if you can do well then, you can do well anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is a time where you learn how to hustle. You learn what it means to really work hard and really, really dig in. And I would say this is as bad as I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's just on top of all the devastation. It's not just the housing market. It's politics. It's a lot of things all combined that has just made it just a terrible, terrible time right now for real estate. At least in LA, Orange County's doing great. San Diego's doing great. Other outside areas are fine, but it's just everything. It's like a ripple effect, and it's just a tough time. But Angelenos are very resilient. The market is resilient in LA. There's so much business that goes on there. So we will rebuild not only the homes, but the whole real estate industry and the market. It will bounce back, but it's pretty bad right now.
Do you weather the storm, or do you strategically start making moves of like trying to sell into some of these states or areas that like you're seeing higher demand? Like, what do you do?
Both. I'm very lucky that I'm busy with, I've got the show as income, and I'm a good saver. I'm not, it comes back into where I'm not bougie, and I don't have to have designer everything and do like 5-star everything. So I'm a very good saver. I believe in investing, and so I'm okay. But I do a lot of collaboration work with different brands, and I just have the show income to rely on too. But otherwise, I have gone down to Orange County. I've got a couple clients that said, would you ever come down here to do stuff? So I've started, learning more about the Orange County real estate and about the areas and stuff, because I go where the business is.
Yeah.
I am not tied
Follow the
to
money,
LA.
baby. Follow the money. On
Exactly.
Instagram, you got 2.1 million followers. TikTok, you got 476,000 followers. In a year like this, where you're starting to see real estate slow down a little bit, is it possible for you to earn more on social media than you would in real estate?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Significantly.
Yeah. I have done that one year, and it was even a good year, but I earned more on social media. But this year, for sure, earned more between social media and the show.
What other year was that you earned more on social than the show?
I don't recall, but I made a good amount of money from real estate that year, but it was a good year for social media.
Okay.
It was before they started doing micro influencers.
Oh, yeah.
And so
then it was ripping.
Oh, it was good. Okay. It was great.
We Trading Secrets, we talk money. I have to at least do my job and ask. You can deny the question, but can you share how much you made? Like, what's the most you've ever made on social media?
I don't think it was over $1 million, but it was pretty close.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I also want to ask you this, real estate, when you started year one, I always think it's cool to see where people started to where they got. So when you started in 2008 versus where you are today, and like how people know you and the brand you've created, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
So in that first year though, when like, I think it's relatable to a lot of our listeners as they're like trying to navigate the career.
How much did I make my first year?
Yeah.
I got lucky because most real estate agents do not. I mean, if you sell one home your first year, that's pretty good, because it takes a long time to build up clientele and to actually go through it and have it be successful closing. I sold 3 homes in my first year. I was in the beach cities. I sold one in the Hollywood Riviera, one in Palos Verdes, and one in Redondo Beach, one in Hermosa Beach, and one in Palos Verdes. And then I almost sold one in Hollywood Riviera, but it fell through.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty good. I don't know how much I made. I think the Hermosa Beach one was $2 million, was a $2 million property.
Yeah.
The one townhouse in Redondo was maybe 900,000, something like that. Yeah. And then the Palos Verdes one, I think it was a small condo, and that was, I think, around 650 something.
Gotcha.
So whatever the commission is on
Yeah.
that.
But still, like that, not a bad for a first year.
No, for a
It's
first
like
year
that
was
you're
pretty
breaking
good.
6 figures, you know what I mean? Which I feel
And
a
in
lot
2008.
and in 2008. I feel like you were in the top 1% of all
Exactly.
real estate agents that are out there.
Yeah.
We had Rebecca Minkoff on, right, who is a
Oh,
housewife,
yeah.
and we talk a lot about love and money and stuff, and she talked about her prenup a little bit, and she introduced what I had never heard, which was called a floozy clause. And when she talked about it, it ended up going super viral. But she said how she has a floozy clause in which if she dies or she's still living, if her husband marries someone else, even if she's gone, any access to like funds, trust funds, any money's immediately shut down, like immediately. So it's called the floozy clause.
Really?
Yes. So I wanted to ask your opinion, one, on the floozy clause. And then additionally, do you have a take on, when it comes to love and money, I know you've been through the ringer, do you have a take on prenups?
Oh, I'm very for prenups.
Okay.
My ex-husband, I had to file bankruptcy and everything because I didn't have one, and he took everything, ran up a bunch of credit in my name. I got back from London and found out my 820 credit score was down under 500. And I was like, how is that possible? And then realized what had happened. So prenups are amazing. I have one. And because our situation has changed quite a lot since the beginning of the show, and when Roman and I got married, we have additional things to it. When we bought the house, like I'm very fair, and I wanted to make sure, even though I put down like the money for it, I make more money, and Roman's fine with that. Like he doesn't care, but he contributes. People think we're saying he was a gold digger and stuff. He contributes and always wants to. He's a very stubborn man, and he would never. I don't think he would ever try to take my money, but I'd never know. The separations and divorces can get brutal, and people turn into people that they weren't before, fighting for money. So we do have that, and basically it states that any money that I put into the house comes back to me first. If we sell it, then he gets like this, like an amount that we both decided was fair, based on like when we're in love and in a good place, what is fair. And then I think that's good, because then, you never know what happens, and you don't want to spend all your money giving it to attorneys. Like, you want to do what's fair when you're in love, when, you have the wits about you to not just try to destroy the person's life.
Sure.
I mean, it doesn't need to come to that. If the relationship's over, just move on.
So it sounds like you got the fair clause in your prenup, but you don't have a floozy clause.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty ironclad, but I'm also a very fair person.
Yeah.
And same thing goes with him. It's like, I'm not going to try and take anything of his. What you walk into the relationship with, you take out whatever is, and we still have separate bank accounts. We don't have joint bank accounts.
Yeah.
I will not do that again. I was burned, and he understands it though. He gives no problem like with it. He has no problem signing any prenup amendments or anything like that. Like post-nup, really it is.
Yeah.
But amendments, he's like, whatever you want, I'll sign it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think just
not
having
out
the
to get each other.
conversation, that the biggest issue is like so many people don't have that conversation. They're afraid to have that conversation. Just having that conversation creates so much clarity. So it's not like you're not wondering, what do you think? What do you do? It's like, no, he's cool with it. I'm good with it. We know what it is. There's no question marks, and no gray areas, like healthy in relationships, especially with the money and finances. You mentioned that your credit was like an 820, and then it went to 500, and then you found out. I heard a little bit about this story, how you and your ex went into business together, right? But you were watching over the accounts, and my understanding is he's doing projects and just not recouping money, not getting paid. What happened to the situation where you were still watching over the accounts that at one point you didn't see like all the stuff he was doing? Or
because it happened after. So what happened with the business was it was construction and stuff. And so there were two things back to back. One of them, like, they just weren't paying out. And the other one, he took basically a project too big for him. And, you lose money on certain things. The expenses are more than you expect. And then other people pay late and stuff. At the same time, his father got cancer. And so we were just watching it just kind of going down. And at that time, it wasn't anything like, he wasn't like conning me or doing anything at that time. I don't think he was a risk taker.
Yeah.
And there was just 2 back-to-back things that were very unfortunate. And once we decided to move to London, just start over, move to London, because our relationship was also like iffy. It became abusive and everything too. But at that time we were like, okay, fresh start. Let's just try. I thought maybe being in a different environment, being around his family would like calm him down.
Yeah.
It was the dumbest thing I've done, like to do that, because it only got worse. He then had a sense of power being on his turf. And when he first moved there, everything was in his name until I had the spousal visa in place and the NRS number, whatever it's called. I can't remember. Yeah. Until I had that, I can't open my own bank account. I can't have a telephone. I can't have anything. I was at his mercy.
Damn.
And he had all the money in his account. And within that
time. Which was your money.
Which was our money at that time. But he took a bunch of things out in my personal name, credit cards and everything, maxed them all out that I never knew anything about. Yeah, and because we were in London and they have a completely different credit system there.
So he just used your information and took it out and then like signed on your behalf.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And that was while you were still married.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I didn't have a lot of recourse unless I sued him. But then I found out when I was back in the States, obviously broke because and like he just like abused me like physically for like pretty bad. So I bolted back to the States. I was like, I'm done, and found that out. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not having anything to do with him. I'm not going to charge him with anything, or I didn't have the money to get an international attorney.
Right. Because that's a whole nother avenue you got to jump through because he's in London or UK. Unbelievable.
So don't share bank accounts.
Yeah. Don't share bank accounts. That's unbelievable. Before you went to, I always like to dive a little bit into this because I think if someone can learn something from what you went through to prevent themselves to going through it on the finance side, that's always like helpful and impactful. When you're in the States, what did the bank account start at and what did it go down to before you're like, we got to get out of here?
I don't remember what it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't what they are now, but it was probably a couple hundred or something. And there maybe something like that. Maybe I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
But it's money isn't what it is now. But it was still. I felt like we were doing a good amount.
Yeah.
I mean, we could live comfortably having that in our account and stuff like that. And then it went down to zero. I was working 2 jobs when I was in London.
Damn.
He lost his job. I was working 2 jobs once I was able to get a job. And then it was kind of a nightmare. I love London though. I still have a love for London. That's just not him.
And so screw him. And then your biggest financial lesson from that, like what would you do then knowing what you know now? It sounds like a prenup and non-shared bank accounts. Anything else?
Yeah. I would keep a lock on your credit unless it's because then they have to notify you if anybody does that. If I would have done that, I would have been notified.
Because he was doing it behind your back with your information, so you wouldn't get any type of notice unless you had some type of credit lock on it. All right. That's a good lesson. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry that you had to go through all these things, but you've obviously learned a lot of lessons, and these lessons that you're putting out there are going to help other people.
Yeah.
So it's like your experience will then create a legacy. Yeah. All right. Let's get into, we have just a little bit of time left with you. So I want to touch on real estate market. So in the luxury real estate market, I think we hear this a lot, especially on the TV shows. What does luxury stand for? Like, what is the price point at which it then becomes luxury?
I don't know if there really is actually like an exact number.
Yeah. Is it like if it's over 2 million, it's luxury? If it's over 3 million, 5 million, like what's the luxury number?
I mean, I think probably technically it's probably over 1 million means luxury or something. I think technically, but it depends where you're at. In LA, it's like,
true.
You're not getting, you can barely get a condo. But I think it depends on the area and what market it is. If you go to Indiana, you can be Geist Reservoir because I'm from Indiana, so I can just pull this out of nowhere. But that's a very nice area. Carmel, Indiana is a very nice area, and so that's their luxury market is probably still under 1 million. I would think it's probably 1 to 2 would be probably max. I'm assuming.
That
I've
makes
been
sense.
back in a while.
All
But
right, what is your strike zone? Like in LA, like where you're like, okay, on the lower end, I'll represent deals here. Higher end, like, well, there's probably no ceiling, right? You're like,
there's
the
no
biggest, the best.
ceiling.
So what's probably the lower end?
I think Jay-Z and Beyonce bought one of the high end ones.
Yeah, that was, how much did that one go for?
I think it was like 150, 200 maybe. Something like that, I think.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's great.
I know.
But your strike zone, would you say, is where? Like your average strike zone?
I think the luxury market, it's around, I would say 3 million and up. Right. I would say 5 million is starts real luxury, but 3 million in LA, it depends where and what the house looks like, what it offers.
Sure.
You know, I mean, you can have a 3 million house in the middle of Bel Air that's a tear down. It doesn't mean it's luxury. It's in the luxury area and you're getting land value.
Got it.
You know,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
With social media where it's at, like you see all these people doing these tours and they're trying to get pictures of these houses, and then there's celebrities' houses. Do you have to go through a due diligence process? Like, do you get like proof of funds before you show anyone? Is that always the case?
Absolutely.
Sometimes the case. How does it work?
Absolutely. I have actually really good clients now. They're part of the Formula One family. Sure. And I did that to him. And I was like, I need proof of funds. I didn't believe him. He's like, I'm in town one day, cash, da da da. And I was like, Google him to my assistant. I was like, it sounds pretty fake to me.
Yeah.
But then on Google, it came back. Ask him for proof of funds. I want, and I want this. He's like, okay. Start sending it through, and now he's so much fun. I'm friends with him and his wife and his kids and everything. But I told him, I was like, I didn't think you were real. I was like, send him over proof of funds. He's like, and I did. I was like, I know you're real. But there's a lot of times that they're not. They'll even send through fake proof of funds. And we have to then call the bank and verify their proof of funds. And people just want to meet you. And so or impress their girlfriends, acting like they have the money to go, look what I'm getting ready to buy. Maybe you can stay with me. I mean, it's so creepy.
Have you caught people sending you fake proof of funds? No way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We don't know what the point is.
Yeah.
I mean, besides just trying to show off or waste our time, maybe look cool. Yeah. I'm like, how cool does it look when we find out that they're fake?
Yeah.
I don't.
Sure. Yeah. Majority of those people, like let's say at a $5 million home, I'm always curious, over 5 million, what percentage would you say, just guessing, of those buyers will take out a mortgage and finance it versus pay cash?
Between 5 and 10 million?
Let's say like 5 and 10 million.
Probably 50-50.
50-50, some pay cash, some don't. Okay, interesting. And then what's the largest deal you've ever done in your career?
35 million.
Damn, 35 million bucks. How'd you celebrate with that paycheck?
I don't know. What did I do?
That's a big hole.
I don't know if I did anything.
Yeah.
I was probably too busy to be able to celebrate. There's been a couple where I want to celebrate. I'm like, I'm too tired.
Yeah, too tired. I'm done. We'll rain check
I probably at the time just had a drink and cheers to myself or something.
I love it. Do you have, of all the people that you've worked with, you already mentioned someone from F1, but all the people you've worked with, can you think of like the wildest celebrity negotiation?
Wildest celebrity negotiation. I've worked with a couple of celebrities. French Montana. French's team was really easy and cool, though.
That's cool.
Yeah, they were really great to work with. So it wasn't really crazy. Oh, well, I guess the 35 million house. So there was this old guy that lived there, and the property that they bought was going to be renovated.
Okay.
But it needed to be renovated. They wanted to. And there's a house next door that his wife used to live in. They had adjoining properties where it was kind of cute and crazy at the same time.
Yeah.
But they would walk through this like little secret passage to each other's properties.
Yeah.
Well, she ended up passing. And so he decided that he was going to go ahead and get rid of the other one. So they got both of the properties together. People had been asking them forever if he would sell the other one.
Sure.
So we got the one down from 50 million to 35. And then at the last minute, because it was my client's birthday, and something about that was he was out on the boat and it was named the same thing as something else. He's like, this is a sign. I'll go ahead and give you both of them for this if you can close by the end of the day. And because we were like talking to them, we were like, and normally we don't ever let them meet each other or anything. We had them meet because we're like, I think that they're going to get along. And sometimes we'll do that. We're like, if we think that this could truly help, sometimes it can backfire. So you have to be very careful doing it.
Sure.
But we had them meet. They really liked each other, admired each other. And at the last minute, we got my client both of the homes for $35 million instead of 50.
How quickly did you do that?
That day.
You did a deal for $35 million in one day? How?
Because he's got cash.
Yeah. He's
got a lot of cash.
So it's just, that was it.
Yeah, we did the deal. They signed off. Well, I mean, I think technically they had to wire, they have to wire the funds. So the deal escrow wasn't closed the same day. It takes a couple of days to close. I think it was 5 days or something, crazy. 7 days.
A 24-hour close on $35 million. I love it. One of the last questions I got you is, you mentioned earlier that you had troubles with negotiating with someone, or it was just like a tougher deal, but then they bought you a necklace after. In the luxury real estate market, is that something that, I don't want to say the word expected, but is that a norm that someone would buy you a gift after?
No.
Okay, so that's a rare occasion.
We get clients gifts, but
that's what I was thinking. That's why when you said it, I was like, hey, go back to that.
Yeah. Well, you can tell how difficult it was.
Yeah. This guy was a pain in the ass.
I believe they told me afterwards I was the 5th agent that they had, but they're actually really lovely people. They're eccentric and very lovely. But I have never yelled at a client before, and there was at one point where I screamed at him. He's like, pull out, I don't care, because he was going to lose. Like, he was afraid potentially losing 20,000 like on something that he was never going to lose that. Yeah. It was with inspections or something. Sure. But he already had the money in there that was he couldn't get back.
Interesting.
And so he already signed off to release the funds, and it was like 200,000. And I was like, no, we are not pulling out.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, no, I'm not going to lose this money. I'm like, if you pull out, you've lost this other money. But he was in such a
ego frenzy, right?
Yeah. He was so terrified and just like not thinking clearly. And I could see it was a moment. I was like, go talk to your wife. And I have a feeling you're going to turn around. Yeah. I'm not doing this yet. Talk to her first. And he's like, no, I don't care. I was like, what do you think she's going to say when she finds out? Yeah. And he's like, I don't care. I was like, yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Trust me.
You sure do.
There's another place I can help you with.
Yes. And he was like, no, I said to do it. I said, and I'm telling you, no, take a moment, breathe, go talk to your wife and come back to me.
Unbelievable.
And so, and she told me later on, he's like, he had so much respect for you from that point on, because I was yelling at him. I was like, you're your owner's enemy. Stop.
You saved the deal and you saved the deal.
Right.
And that's where the therapy hat comes on, right? You did it all. I love it. All right, well, here's the deal. I'm in the midst of buying a home right now. Yeah. And I need a couple little trading secrets here. Okay. So give me some. Anybody that's listening to this, it's a buyer right now. My understanding is it is a buyer's market. So are there any things that you would say, hey, look out for this, or think through this, or just a couple tips before we wrap here?
Yeah, I think really, really consider the property taxes, the amount of property taxes. You're paying them, but you really have to work that in to, if you're getting a loan or whatever, you have to make sure, just budget wise, that you're accounting for that. Like mine, for instance, when I get back next month, I've got to fork out another 30 grand. Yeah. So it's like you have to make sure you're preparing for that, and you're adding that into your monthly budget, because it does add up, all of the repairs and expenses along the way. A lot of people don't realize, you want a pool, but do you know how much that's going to cost you per month? Sure. And a lot of people get in over their heads. I mean, in certain price points, they don't care. Yeah. But I also have a lot of clients in, the $1 to $3 million price point. And when you're heating a pool and filling it and stuff every month, and you're adding on an extra $1,000 a month on stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, you have to think that through. Your insurance is higher, everything's higher, and so you have to make sure you're accounting for all of those small, what seems to be small.
Yeah, the things you're not thinking about. Okay, one last is a selfish question, but on a listing price, do you have a rule of thumb as to you can of course go in below listing price,
Mm-hmm.
but is there a rule of thumb, like don't go under, I don't know, I'm making this up, 20% listing price, 10%? Like, do you have a rule of thumb with an offer? Like, you're going to offend the seller if you go in under this percent of what listing price is?
Yeah, it's always so hard to
navigate that.
to talk to people about that, because they're like, no, just go low, it'll be fine. That is not fine. They're going to be offended and they won't even respond.
They'll just be like, don't respond anymore to this person.
But so it really depends on the situation.
Okay.
Like if there are multiple offers, if there's a bunch of interest, don't try to play that game. It's like, come into what is reasonable, but your best foot forward, but where you still have a chance to work up a little bit, because they're going to most likely come back to all people best and final offer. So don't play all of your cards right away, because you never know if the listing agent has a relationship with another. Like if you're representing the buyer making the offer, you don't know if they have a relationship with somebody else where they could technically be like, oh, well, we got an offer for this, so you need to beat it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to be careful not to play all of your cards. If you have a good relationship with the other agent, feel that out and try to, like, having a good agent is
huge.
It's huge because you have a name, you have a reputation already, you have relationships with the other agents where you're like, hey, listen, here's what it takes. We work well together. Let's get this done. And so you can really, they have trust and they have confidence that you're not a newbie agent that doesn't know what they're doing, and you're going to be able to have client control and get the deal done. And so, so having a good agent is important. People think that they can just get by going to, I'm just going to throw something out there like Redfin or something like that, doing one of the agents where it's like a very small, I don't even know if that's the thing because we don't work with them that much, but where it's such a small percentage, or list your home yourself or something like that. It's like, oh God, I don't think you know what you're getting into. So I think, having a good agent is key.
That's good advice. It sounds like it's an art and it's a dance, but don't overstep and work with your agent.
It is. Yeah. And then going in low, you can go in low if there's no other offers, or even if there is an offer, but don't be offensive. Like, because it's never going to happen. If the house has been on the market though, offensive? There's not a certain number. It's just like,
use your gut as to what is offensive. Okay. Like, you'll know what's offensive.
If all the homes in the area, if all the comps show they've sold at this price and it's a very comparable home, then don't go in like 200,000 under. It also depends on the price point.
Sure.
So don't go in like significantly lower if it just came on the market. People are like, don't waste my time, and they get mad, and they think, well, this is how you're going to be for the rest of the escrow if they went into escrow. So you kind of have to, it's walking a fine line on that one. Just try see what you can get, try to push it a little bit, but don't do it so much that they're going to be like, you're an asshole.
Okay. Don't be an asshole. All right. Message heard. Last question I got before we get your trading secret. Season 10, has it got greenlit? Are you going to be on it? Have you signed contracts? Where are we at with season 10?
We don't know, actually. We initially, they want to pick up season 10. It all depends on the ratings. So 3 weeks after it airs is when we know if ratings are good enough for them to officially greenlight it. The cast right now is not getting along, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Netflix is extremely frustrated. I'm extremely frustrated. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. I honestly think it just depends if people start acting like adults, and if Netflix or not just Netflix. I think like also Jason has a lot to do with it. Production has a lot to do with it. Poor Netflix is actually just sitting back like, will you guys please behave? You're giving you a great opportunity.
Stop acting like this.
Right? And it's true. It's like what is happening? So I'm not going to be involved in something that is so negative and where if it is ruining my reputation, like from just lies and stuff being put out there, I'm not interested in that at all. Sure. And I will happily walk away. And focus back on real estate. But if the attitudes can change and we can go back to being women empowerment like focused and using our platform for positivity and good and to show women that you can do anything, you can come from anywhere and be successful, I'm in.
I love that.
But,
I love that. Well, we'll wait. We'll see. I think in this just little hour, you clearly have demonstrated all that, what you've been through, empowered people through your stories from burglary to financial abuse and everything else that you discussed. So we appreciate you being on. But you got to leave us with a trading secret. So it's specific to your life, the way you manage finances, your career. It could just be a motivational quote, just something that either you live by or that you think is unique to you given your experience.
I will say it again because I don't think enough people have heard it. It's very simple, and I think the world will be a better place. Everyone will be happier. You'll be more successful and trusted in business. Treat others as you would want to be treated.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah.
And it's a universal thing that wars would stop. Everyone would love each other in business. There's no shadiness going on. It's like you can trust the people you're shaking hands with. At the end of the day, it would be a much, much better world if everyone just treated each other like they would want to be treated.
I love it. I love it. And I think I always like to say, like, what is my trading secret? I think my trading secret is like in your life, it sounds like you are relentlessly willing to continue to put your heart out there. And even when you continue to put your heart out there and it doesn't work, you're still like, I'll fight for it. I'll go to London. I'll give it a shot. But then you can quickly, so fastly be resilient and adaptable. Be like, okay, that fucked me up. It drained my bank. It drained my credit, but I'm coming back. Like, watch out. No one's going to stop me. And then you're going to learn lessons. They're going to keep growing. And I think in life, we all deal with certain scenarios where you have to either, stop and it sets you back, or stop and it moves you forward. And you continue to sometimes get hit in the face with a burglar or whatever, and it stops, but it seems like you never move back. You just find ways.
The art of resilience.
The art of resilience. That is your tagline right there. All right, Mary, thank you so much for being on Trading Secrets. Where can people find everything you got going on?
The Mary Bonnet is on my IG, on I think TikTok, and possibly even Snapchat. I'm not sure. And then I've got marybonnet.com, and that's it, I think.
You have a book too. We're going to talk about it.
I have a book. Oh my God, how did I forget my book?
Don't forget the book. Selling Sunshine. We'll talk. We're going to give a copy away. Stay tuned to the recap. We're going to talk a little bit about your book in this episode. Mary, thank you for being on Trading Secrets.
Thank you.
Woo.